Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new episode of Indie Zombie Reviews. I'm Jordan, and today I'm going to talk about Fragments of Him. Fragments of Him is an interactive story. It's a walking sim, pretty much. And this was probably about $10 to $12, I think. Probably took me about 2 hours, I think, to play through and beat. And I'm not necessarily conflicted, but this is actually the first time in a while that a game story, anyway, has actually, hit me in my cold, dead heart. My cold, dead, cynical fag heart, as one would say. And while I can heavily criticize the game for not being a game, because there's not really a whole lot to do, it's usually click on a glowing object in order to progress the story, or click on a glowing person and the story will go, and people will talk and henceforth. But what did help sell this for me was just the very human story of a person who struggled a lot of the time trying to figure out who they were, what made them happy, and being able to find that and actually be comfortable in their life, in the relationship they chose, and then it suddenly just being ripped away from them. And then the rest of the story being about the people around him. People that were close to him, person that he was in a relationship with, people like his grandmother who helped raise him a lot, and kind of brings up an interesting point where when she finds out, because kind of the big thing about this is that the main character that you play as, either he was bisexual and then became gay and became involved in a relationship with another man. And when his grandmother found out about this while he was in school, she didn't confront him about it. In fact, if anything, she was just horribly embarrassed about it and felt embarrassed for him as well, because it's all from her perspective as well when it goes into those story bits. And she kind of cut herself off from him. She stopped talking to him, calling him, writing him, but he did actually stay in contact with her. And sort of a turning point for her story anyway, because she, says at one point that she was very angry with him, with this ridiculous choice that she feels that he made. And one day when she was just all alone, and she hurt herself while she was in the garden, she finds that he was just coming over to visit. And that actually really, touched her and made her realize that, despite, this one choice that he had made in his life, that he was still this good person, that he still was the caring child that she had helped raise and love. And she was able to look past that.
Tim? It'll be alright. He looked after me anyway. I saw the kind boy that I knew inside the man he had become. I don't claim that I'll ever fully be able to approve of some things.
Let's get you inside.
But inside, he really always had been the man that I wanted him to be. Kind and strong. I'd missed that. Blinded by only one part of him. He was still everything I could have hoped for. He was even kind to a fool like me. I'll never forget that.
And then gets into a past relationship with this girl who he met at college, and they were still friends, and she, in fact, she knew that he was in love with this other person because they were all friends. I would have liked to have seen the story, from that perspective of how it started and then what happened from there, because all you get is kind of from her perspective, and then what happens at the end with the boyfriend after the main character dies, which is like right at the beginning of the game. So, and it's, you know, it's quite touching because it talks about basically, you know, how and what a lot of these characters are dealing with, you know, how they felt about him when they first, you know, met him and were raising him, being with him, how they felt about him, and then losing him, still feeling that connection, wanting that connection, and then how they felt about him afterward. And just that, you know, just that they still loved him and remembered him, and that he was always there for them and wanting to be there for them. And yeah, and that's something I can kind of relate to. Kind of. I've not been lucky enough to be able to have a lot of special relationships in my life. Really only one. And sadly it didn't last. You know, and it got to me, certainly. It's the first time actually a game actually kind of made me feel depressed, actually. You know, just in thinking about my own life, in a way. Can I give this a recommendation? I would say if you're interested, just to take a look at the story, sure, but maybe wait for it to drop in price a little bit. The loading sections do get pretty tedious and annoying because it's constant whenever you're changing a scene or a scenario, and the scenarios can be pretty short, and then you'll go right into a loading screen, you know, before you move on to the next segment or a new scenario. But I liked this. I liked it for the story. What I would say though is, should this be a game? No. Should it maybe have been a book? Should it maybe have been, I don't know, an animated short film? Sure, that probably would have worked a lot better. Might have been a little cheaper too. Of course, I don't know about how that sort of thing works. But this is the first time that an interactive story that I actually enjoyed the story. For as little gameplay as there really was, which really there wasn't, walk around, hit the glowing objects, and the story regresses. Hell, there are scenes where you're walking around and activating furniture so that the story can continue. You do get to pick dialogue, so at least there's that, which I'm sure probably affects the outcome of how certain events play out between certain characters. But yeah. If you're interested, I'd say take a look at it. Well, until next time, everybody, I'm gonna try and cheer myself up a little bit. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Support me on Patreon. Check out my channel for more videos. Follow me on Twitter. Links are always in the description down below. See you guys next time. Take care of yourselves.